Welcome to the Reimagine podcast. Each week, give yourself 30 minutes and meet the people working hard to create the future of insurance today.
Hi, this is Paul Tyler, and welcome to another episode of the Reimagine podcast. Laura, how are you?
I am doing well, Paul. It's great to be back.
Yeah, we've had a busy few weeks. And before we get into the show, you were up in Boston this week, right? Or last week. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity. I actually, we took a friend up there, Susan Winkler with CTIFS, and we traveled up to the climate forum that Insure was hosting. So Charlie Sidoti, Stephanie Simon, and Chris, they put on a really wonderful forum of about 50 individuals. It was a day-long event with about 10 panels and a wonderful dinner wrapping it up, talking about the future of climate and how we can all play a part in that. So it was fascinating.
Yeah, and there's a role for annuities, right?
Absolutely.
I think we're getting a lot of feedback. Well, that's great. And now, of course, this is coming off of InsurTech Connect, which was was that packed 4 or 5 days. So we got a great guest to talk about state of the industry, InsurTech, startups, carriers. Laura, do you want to do the intro?
Yeah, happy to do that. We have an individual here, and if he sounds familiar, looks familiar for those watching the video, he took place in our event last year with the Retire Tech Conversation. So we are excited to welcome back a friend and industry leader, Vinod Kachroo, and he is CEO at Innoveo. So he has worked within the industry for many years, is a transformational player. And for our listeners, it would be great to understand. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Vinod. How did you get here today? And, what does your journey look like so far?
Thanks, Laura, and thanks, Paul, for getting me on your podcast. I am the CEO of Innoveo. At Innoveo, we are helping enterprises change the way they build enterprise applications. Our goal and objective is to help enterprises building new applications and make building new applications cool again. We do this through no-code technology. No-code technology basically enables either businesses, citizen developers, or IT business analysts in helping them create enterprise-level applications. We do this through, I call them a bunch of Lego pieces. These are solutions accelerators and industry solutions. And you configure everything. You configure your data model, your workflow, your business process, even your integrations. And that's a next wave of transformation in technology where the underlying technology is separated from how the business applications are built. So we are here to help transform and enable the industry. And we do go to market vertical based, currently very, very heavy in enabling insurance industry in helping them transform themselves.
Yeah, and Vinod, you and I go way back, and I think
Yes.
we were colleagues at a large insurance company. You were CEO of a company that sort of helped our current company, Laura, and our current company make a pretty significant transformation. Now you're sort of in the startup space doing some fascinating stuff here. Maybe we could sort of talk and kind of go back before we go forward. In some ways, I think back about some of the work we were doing at Met. I'm going to say a lot of this work was, I'm going to argue, people can tell me wrong, I think we were 5 to 10 years ahead of where the industry was headed. I mean, maybe talk a little bit about that world.
Yeah. And I think we were ahead because, see, the industry, when you look at insurance industry, it evolved and grew up from, I would say it was a batch industry. And we drove that movement towards more online, enabling the agents, enabling the brokers, enabling then the consumers to do their own things online. And again, that was a huge innovation. But now consumers are looking at once and done. They're looking at integrated experiences. So you see the evolution now move to the next level. And the next level is embedded. Next level, when you look at end of the day, at Met, we used to say, insurance is not a product you touch and feel. It's something which enables either your financial freedom is what we used to call it, right? It helps you with mortality risk, helps you with income risk. But now more and more, like we have recently enabled a very large digital cargo company, and you don't even go through insurance experience at all, but the insurance is in the background enabling that cargo experience. So you will see more and more of that happening. Next time in Asia Pac, you are in a car you enter, which is like similar to an Uber type. It's going to say, hey, for $1 more, you want to buy liability insurance. Or for $2 more, how about $500,000 life insurance? Think about an industry where you fill 24, 25-page app. Now you can buy $500,000 life insurance policy for 3 months with one click and don't have to. It already has your profile, right? It's underwriting you in the background. That's a transformation, right? Who believed that it usually takes 6 to 8 weeks to get a policy out of the door? Now you can get a policy with one click. That's a change in transformation. That's where the startups are enabling. The startups are enabling a new paradigm. They're enabling a new ecosystem. And you will see more and more companies are not going to be able to do everything themselves within their four walls. Their differentiation comes with how quickly and how effectively they are leveraging the ecosystem and becoming part of it. And then how are they differentiating by leveraging that ecosystem to either get better products, faster products, cheaper products, and better service to their customers. And in insurance, our customer is our broker and producer, as well as the end customer.
Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting. The more things change, the more some of these things are similar. I think about, the agenda, our technology agenda. Sorry to take you back, but like this is going back a ways to cement. There were a lot of common themes, right, Vinod? Like faster processing of applications, getting your application costs down, providing statusing. It's just the challenges are so different, right? You remember the standards? Like we were, clapping when we had like apps coming out of the hopper 26 days later, right? It was, I remember some of those batch runs we had, like doing some really cool things, householding data, doing compliance stuff. I remember being astonished to learn the daily run took 26 hours to run on some of those mainframes. So I guess if we sort of, because you got so much perspective on technology, how has an agenda say changed over 10 years for the head of IT or a CTO at an insurance company sort of then versus today? What's different?
I think there's a lot different. I think we may still feel like we are solving similar problems, but they're not same. We are solving different problems. The digital economy, the digital consumer is bringing our way. And we have different tools. Like you talked about taking 26 hours to run a daily file on a mainframe. Now, the computer power, if I look at my iPhone, this iPhone is a lot more powerful than a mainframe was 20, 25 years back, okay? I got the power of a mainframe in my iPhone. So hardware is becoming more and more, I would say, literally free, okay? It's not necessarily ever going to be free, but the power and the capability there and the processing capacity, then the data. All the insurance companies, again, we work for a lot of these large insurance companies. They had like 50-year, 70-year, 80-year data, and they collected 25-page app for a life policy. 80% data wasn't used, okay? And now, how are you effectively leveraging that data, and how is that data helping you guide what the product should be? Plus, more and more we are seeing the digital consumer wants to live a better life and wants to solve a problem rather than buy a point solution because it's the right thing for the agent or the insurance company to sell that point solution. You're seeing the boundaries getting blurred between, I would even look at life insurance policy and I say genome is getting more and more mainstream. As I know my disease markers, do I still want to buy life insurance as a individual point solution product, or is my wellness and my healthcare and my life insurance bundling into one cohesive product? We are seeing more and more companies. We have a customer where they're launching 16 different products on a single policy. and these are cutting traditional policy lines. They are PNC products. They are even I would say commercial products sold to the consumer now. They are life and annuity products or bundled as benefits on a single policy. So things like that you will see more and more happening and more getting enabled. That's why no code technology plan. I'm excited to be the leader and CEO of driving a company like Innoveo, where we can enable these paradigms in days, not weeks, not months, not years, and you can experiment, learn, evolve. One of the companies is looking to launch a lot of these new products into digital channels, and they were worried not to know where the market is going to adopt or accept these products. Okay, someone said, I know my travel will work. I know my credit card product will work, but I don't know these other 5 products I'm trying. I'm like, but that's exactly what you need to do. You launch 5, 2 work, 3 didn't work, you move on. You launch 5 more, you launch 5 more. Because also at a point in time, what market needs is going to continuously evolve. Who thought we're going to hit COVID, right? Who thought we're going to be a Zoom society, right? We're not just again, I use Zoom more personal than for work, okay? And suddenly the whole paradigm on how you interact, how you socialize has changed. So that's why it was phenomenal to be in ITC and see 8,000 people in a conference, okay? That was amazing and phenomenal. And I got great value. I got great value from those interactions. So as the world is changing, technology is no longer a barrier. Technology is an enabler. How are you effectively, like if you're going to continue your own monolithic architecture you enabled 20, 30 years back and keep modernizing those architectures and not disrupt them, you might not be a viable enterprise 5 years from now. I think those are the calls enterprises need to make. So hope that
you mentioned
kind of paint that picture for you, Laura and Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that you mentioned was interesting, right? So we talked about bundled benefits, bundled products. Is it safe to guess, assume, predict, and in some ways we see it ourselves, is bundled innovation really kind of going to be the way of the future? So it's not just startups and carriers, but really the combination of the two? Or what are your thoughts on that?
100%. I'm a very strong believer in ecosystems. Innovation is going to come from anywhere and everywhere. It can't just be startups. Startups have some great ideas, some great enablers. They don't have the experience and the muscle of enterprises. Enterprises have a lot of experience, but they think what they do is unique and that's the way it can always be done. They have to think outside the box. The combination of that disruption, I would say those startups by themselves are not going to make it. And enterprises by themselves are not going to make it. The blend is powerful. And that's where I believe in ecosystems, okay? If there is a new innovation somewhere, how can enterprises quickly adopt it? And how can enterprises challenge those startups in what some of those innovations are and how practical and how scalable they are? Because startups don't have scale, okay, in some cases, or don't think scale. Suddenly I got to do 1 million quotes a day. I recently, for one of my customers who's launching a digital product, these are low premium products. Like they could be $2, $3 premium, but they're running 1 million quotes a day on our platform for those products. How do you scale, okay? If we couldn't scale, then the startup mentality is not going to work, because you need to think enterprise scale, you need to think quick ramp up, and you need to think the blend of enterprises. And I'm a strong believer in ecosystems. And that's the only way to think about future. And by the way, not only do you need to enable ecosystems and embed those ecosystems into enterprise capabilities, enterprises have to become part of those ecosystems as well. That's what the whole embedded insurance means. Embedded insurance means I'm going to now put myself in this new car rental company. I'm going to put myself in this cargo company. I'm going to embed myself into this retail transaction. When the transaction happens, the insurance just happens and it's there, and you're not going through another insurance experience. So embedded, you will see more and more becoming mainstream for these enterprises, particularly within the consumer side.
Yeah, well, Vinod, a couple of things you said were interesting. You know, insurance carriers have got to be part of the ecosystem. And I think there's broader and broader recognition that is the case. But talk about the change that's got to take place inside a carrier to be an effective partner. Like for a company to come and say, "Yeah, Vinod, I believe in embedded code. Yeah, I believe in this future." It's not necessarily a good thing just to write a check. You got to have people inside who are able to work. If I'm the CIO, CTO, innovation lead product head, and I want to do embedded insurance, who do I need to have? Like, what staffing changes do I have to make, or what process changes do I have to make for this to work?
I think some companies have started really good steps in that direction. I think you have to act and you have to think like startups. You have to build that innovative mentality and you have to incubate new ideas. But then incubation cannot be done at an enterprise level. If I throw my legal, my compliance at that innovation and they come and drill holes, let the innovation pan out first. I'm not going to really take the risk for the enterprise yet, but let the innovation happen. And you got to incubate them. You got to just like create startups, multiple, not one. It cannot be, here's my innovation department and Paul is in charge of it. That doesn't work. Every area needs to have innovative people and needs to have encouragement to say, try new ideas, try new things. And you know what? When those ideas start to pan out, make them mainstream. The blend of enterprise and that startup mentality and that innovation is the intersection is where the true value gets generated. The value cannot be generated because I have seen a lot of companies put in a budget, here's your $5 million and this is my startup innovation department. Does it always work? Maybe, maybe not. But how do you create a culture of innovation? How do you create those multiple startups everywhere? And then have them incubate ideas and bring those ideas back into the mainstream relatively quickly. I was once talking to a CEO of a large tier 1 insurance company. He was offering me a job to be a CEO of his incubator. He said, I want you to incubate new things and incubate. They had done a lot of stuff. I love the concept, okay? I ended up being in Innoveo, but I love the concept.
Now, is it, diving a little deeper into that, have you seen in your path, because your background is quite diverse, is it certain personality types of individuals that you've come across who tend to work well in those startup corporate innovation scenes? Or would you say it's a blend of, talent and person? Or is it, can you take the right people and can you teach them things and let them go?
So I have seen people also think they're doing it right by saying, I'm going to disrupt. I'm going to bring everybody from outside. You bring everybody from outside, they're lost. They don't understand your business. They don't understand the nuances of your product. So they design something which is not practical. It sounds great. It feels great, but it doesn't work. So I think it's always a mix of organic versus inorganic. I think you have to let your legacy thinking just leave it behind. And everybody has to start to incorporate that cultural change, which is that I'm going to think different, I'm going to think new. But at the same time, don't expect that new thing suddenly to disrupt and change and replace your existing business model. I think as you're scaling and you're making money in your current business model, knowing it might be disrupted, you may have 5 different streams of new ideas running at the same time. And one of them may pan out and might create a net new revenue stream for you, okay? Or may disrupt and replace your existing revenue stream. I think people go into these things with predefined notions. You put too much structure around something which should be not structured, then you kill it before it starts, right? Because you create boundaries around what people can do. Don't limit people with boundaries. Let them think beyond boundaries. Something will emerge. But when it emerges, then start to think and say, what does it mean for my compliance? What does it mean for my broker? What does it mean from a legal perspective? Am I putting my enterprise at the risk? All those questions are very relevant at the right time. Okay, and don't ignore them, because you can't put your enterprise at risk either by thinking I'm going to disrupt everything. A lot of people will bring non-industry people. I think that's a great idea. But if you have a team of 5 people and you brought 2 people from outside, it's a great blend. It's going to challenge each other. But you bring 5 people from outside and think they're going to disrupt and create new insurance. May happen, but I'm not sure that's the best way to make it happen.
Yeah, I actually had one call from somebody who's a major insurance company. They were looking for somebody derived their digital marketing from it. You have to laugh at this one. And they said, look, the specs we absolutely want somebody who knows nothing about life insurance. Said, okay.
It might be okay to get one person in a team of 5 like that, but you get all 5
right.
like that, then they're going to design maybe the next rocket ship, not the next life policy.
Exactly. Well, just to pull, one of those threads, and Laura's real passionate about that internally, is around creating a culture of innovation. So if I were to go back in time, and talk to somebody who's, newly minted chief innovation officer, said, Paul, what do I need to do here to make this thing, work well for the next couple of years? I'd say, okay, well, get your budget, get your budget to fund these things because nobody else has budgets for the startups. Get the money, try to get 3 or 4 pilots a year running. Oh yeah, by the way, write a check and join, one of these incubators and get a lot of people, fly them out to these incubators, get the people mixing and mingling so they can say the world is bigger outside your the walls of your business. I think that's changed, right? Like if somebody's now your new chief innovation officer comes up, Vinod, and says, "Hey, help me do this." What would be the 3 pieces, 4 pieces, 5 pieces of advice you'd give them?
See, obviously, you need resources, you need mindset, you need budget, but there's different way of. It's not like you allocate a budget for 5 people and think they're going to change the world for you. I think I have seen enterprises like tech enterprises where they'll say, you know what, you have 10% of your time which you can commit and do something unique and something different, what you choose. At the end of the day, people work pretty hard, okay? They might put that 10% on top of what they're already doing. But telling them that they have 10% time, they could think different, they could take a step back, to me is a better use of your enterprise resource than allocating $1 million and giving it to 5 people and saying, go do it. I think you're going to get a better outcome. Then you have the whole enterprise thinking differently. You will see the enterprise pulling in a very different direction. So I think people have to think disruption, and they have to try different things. Like that's what my current company enables and helps enable is, hey, the business process, come and model your application and try it. Pilot it, and you know what? It didn't work, go modify it. You can change it. I have a customer who is building like a very complicated life and annuity process. It's like a licensing and commissions platform. And I was like, are you sure you want to do that? They're like, oh yeah, I do, because I need to be able to change when the market is changing and not wait 3 months when the market has already moved. Okay, so that is very important in today's market because you want to be able to react when the market needs that reaction and not have to wait months and months when it's too late. We have always been kind of this. I remember long back meeting with a very senior insurance exec, and he said, I want to change the culture of my organization and I need a lot of analytics. I had lunch with him in an hour and a half. He just needed reporting. Okay, he needed no analytics. He was complaining about he had no visibility and he was still looking backwards, not forwards. I said, if you're still looking backwards, you don't need analytics, you need reporting. So the mindset is, I want analytics, but as soon as you define what you want, you're looking backwards. So enable people to have that quick access to the data backwards, but then start to have them imagine and dream and start leveraging and make better decision making by looking forward. I think that balance is very important for, I would say, everybody, business and IT. IT has to enable that. And I think we in IT have failed as well many times because we are so much busy in doing backwards work that we never allow businesses to think forward.
Now, if I'm listening, in the car or wherever our listeners are right now, and I'm thinking, I want to think forward, and I have no idea how. Do you have a few simple questions that you start out to get really the breadth of the problem from the individual to help them think forward, or talk us through a little bit of that process?
I think you should always be looking at and thinking and saying, like, see, if I look at our industry, you guys are life and annuity. We still have a large operations teams we run. How much of those operation teams are truly doing actual customer service versus actually processing transactions? in today's day and age, it's a crime that if you're still processing transactions. If you're running a claim, then you have to go to 5 different platforms to run a claim rather than hit a button or enable a customer to give you data to run that claim. And then you truly spend time. It's a bad time in our customers' lives that they're putting in a life claim. So how do we enable that thing for them that they can think beyond that they had a loss of life. Now they have a money coming in. What can they do with this money? That's where majority of the time should be spending, not in actually processing the claim and cutting them a check. We're still putting effort in rudimentary things which technology should change and enable for us. So when you think about looking forward, think about other industries. I think insurance can learn a lot from retail. Okay, how the retail has completely changed and transformed the consumer experience, right? Now, I think, I don't know, like Christmas shopping, how many of them really go to physical store? Okay, I just tell people, give me a link, and they give me a link, and boom, 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 5 minutes, I'm done. And and people get what they want. Okay, they send me 5 things, and I pick one. So that's you have to start to think about a change in experience for our customers, because again, if you look at the next generation, like my daughters, they're not going to buy life insurance because somebody's telling them it's the right thing to buy. They know that they need to do something around mortality. And how does that enable an experience for them? What does that really mean for them? Hey, they just bought a mortgage. What if something happens to you? Who's going to pay that mortgage? What if you lose the house? Those experiences are very important. I think when you think about looking forward, think about your competition, think about the disruptors, and then think about other industries and see what they are doing and how can our industry learn from them. But then at the same time, don't throw the baby with the bathwater. Don't think that we're going to disrupt everything. We're going to evolve. Evolution is okay. Okay, we don't need to change everything we do overnight, as long as we create these new paradigms and create a balance between what we do and these paradigms. Because some of our enterprise processes will take time to change. You have invested billions and billions of dollars in those technologies, infrastructure, and those processes. You're not going to just throw them out and say replace it overnight.
Yeah. Well, listen, opportunities for innovation have changed a lot. Like, I was actually at the first ITC. I don't know. Were you at the first ITC conference?
Yes.
I'm trying to think if you were. I don't know if you remember. There were maybe 800 or 900 people. We had meetings where there was a number taped to the floor. I don't know if you remember that. You'd be sitting there on the number, and nobody would be showing up. You're like, okay. Yeah. I'm the conversation. I'm the loser here. That way, waiting for the person to find my spot. Fast forward to today. Now we brought one of our colleagues out. Now we thought 800 was big. Now we had 8,000, 9,000 people.
8,000 people.
Count. Yeah. So one of our colleagues came out and she said, I walked by the booths and I couldn't tell the startups from the real established companies. So a question for you is, how much white space is left? Do you think that of this wave, everybody has sort of like, there are winners are already defined or are merging in these categories? Or do you think there's, ample opportunity for people trying to spin up startups today in our industry?
So in my mind, we have just started. Okay. Now, when you look at our industry, insurance, and innovation meant just better user experience. Then you looked at some of those companies. I call them screen companies and spreadsheet companies. There's no real IP behind them. There's no real technology behind them. And we got excited because we never had that. Okay, we were struggling to keep our mainframes running and our batches running. We got our batch running from 26 hours to 15 hours. We celebrated. It was victory. Now, why do you need a batch? Why don't you bind everything online? So the concepts have completely started to change. I think in our startup mentality, in our innovation mentality, I think we just started. I think the white space is out there. We're just a dot on a big page. We're not even like a line or a circle or anything. We're just a dot on a big white page. And the opportunity is amazing for the right ones. Okay? And that you're going to start to see a huge shakeup as well. With the current market kind of squeeze happening, you will see a big shakeup happening there as well. People got excited with sometimes nothing.
People like to get excited about things. Now, have you seen the investors follow suit? It's been interesting for us. I know right before COVID had hit, we had held an investor event at our office in Hartford, and it was a great success. But as evolution continues to move forward, things are becoming digitized. The last 2 years has brought forth a lot of transformation as well. Is the money following the ideas, or what have you seen from where you sit?
I think the startups have to think different as well. A lot of the startups thought they never need to make any money, and there was unlimited pots of cash, and it felt like that last couple of years. Now the squeeze has finally, the reality has started to hit, and for the right company, there's still a lot of cash out there which is unspent, and people want to spend it and want to bet on those companies. So you better have a not just an idea, but a decent roadmap on how to take that idea to a conclusion or evolution. And you need to have a path to profitability, path to value. And if you don't have that path to profitability and value, a lot of the investments, companies are not going to be investing in you anymore. Just because you have an idea and you think you're the next Google and the next Amazon is not enough. You need to kind of show the facts and show the metrics and show the fundamentals of your business and how you are panning out. So I'm seeing investors asking very, very tough questions. But if you are able to answer those tough questions, they all love you and they all want to invest in you.
Yeah, well, tell us, maybe just shift the discussion. Let's talk about your company. So, you are focused on, you have a solution for a very big problem in the industry. Maybe talk to us about it a little bit more. You've kind of alluded to the embedded insurance, but where are the opportunities? Who needs your service? And where's your company in terms of? I know you've announced some partnerships and stuff. Love to sort of hear the latest breaking news.
So I think we are growing at a very rapid pace. Last couple of years, we moved from being a European company to now be a US-based company, seeing amazing potential and amazing growth in front of us. Some of the learnings there are good as well. Just telling people I have a cool technology and a cool platform you should use, get to great meetings and conversations, doesn't get you a deal and doesn't get you a customer. Telling somebody that it's okay for you to be and build custom applications from a starting point. And I have a starting point for you. What are you looking for? Hey, I'm looking to launch a new embedded insurance product in this digital market space. And telling them, I've already done that, and here's a starter kit for you. Go start. Or somebody says, I need a claim solution. One of my biggest hard-selling solutions is an underwriting workbench. Everybody's transforming their underwriting model and trying to further automate it and enable it with external data, analytics, and other things. And telling them, I got that single pane of glass structure already defined for you. Integrate your legacy platforms and products into it, and you can do it with ease and don't have to spend months doing it. You could do it in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. That's a game changer in the market, in an industry where people have not been able to run a requirement document in 6 weeks. And they say, I can get the whole thing done in 6 weeks. I think those are the kind of paradigm shifts we are enabling and seeing make a huge difference in the market.
So maybe it's not
investing more and more money in creating those industry solutions.
Yeah, so it's maybe low code is not the tagline. It's more low friction, low friction for new product.
Agree.
Yeah,
it is about. See, the key thing is how do you enable business and IT to collaborate and create some capability and then evolve that capability, because you're never done. Now, if you take in the legacy world, companies took years to run a transformation. By the time you were done, you were already legacy and you had to start all over again. So you were really never done. So in the new world, it's okay to say you're never done, but you got value in 6 weeks. And then you change it, and now in 2 more weeks, you got the next sprint done. Now you got added value. You got the concept of an MVP, the concept of agile. Suddenly they are coming in, becoming real for businesses.
So it's an amazing path that you've been on thus far, and we're going to put links in the show notes so people can learn more about the work that you've done and the work that you're doing. But going on to the word legacy, if you had to think about your legacy and what you may want to leave behind, what would that be? So say X number of years ahead, you decide to retire, go on to the next adventure, whatever your choice is on what you do. What is an ideal legacy you'd like to leave behind?
I think the legacy I love to leave behind is helping enterprises build applications they need at the time when they need, with the right speed they need it. So that to me is the biggest thing, that if I'm identified with that wave and identified that I was one of the leaders and enablers of that wave, obviously I will do the right thing for my investors and for my employees by taking the value of the company and being past a unicorn pretty soon as well. So the financial aspects are not the most important ones for me. They are important. They're important for my investor. They're important for my employees. What is really important for me is that I help transform industries and made a difference. And that, if I get tied to that and I was part of the wave, not only did I leverage that wave, but I enabled industries. And it has to be multiple industries, okay? We do right now work with a lot of insurance companies, but then how do I shift into other industries and start to enable them into the similar paradigm is very important. Because we have gone through these 30, 40 years of journey in technology where technology has innovated a lot. Everybody built their custom applications. Then we told them, you know what, you buy before you build. We force them to buy packages, but then we spend years and years customizing those packages. You know what? It's okay, you're different. As long as you're leveraging a standard component, which is giving you industry best practice and industry's best capability as a starting point, and you can differentiate your business from the next business in the marketplace without having to spend a lot of money and a lot of time, that's the way to go. Telling everybody, everybody get on my platform and do it my way, is not going to work, because every company would want to differentiate in different ways. Enabling them to differentiate in different ways, to me, is innovation.
Okay. Hey, this was great to catch up. Hopefully we can do something with you in our company here in the next few months. But we'll put links to your company, to you, and just want to thank you for taking time and
thank you both,
sharing
Paul and Laura,
your perspective.
Always a pleasure talking to you both, and it has been a great conversation.
Excellent. All right. Thanks so much. And thanks to our listeners. Join us again next week for another episode of the Reimagine podcast. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and recommend us on iTunes, Stitcher, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get more great information about this company and other great startups at imagine.nfg.com.